This is Emilio from Digital Byte Computing, and we're going to look over the steps on how to speed up your iPhone or your iPad or your iPod Touch and essentially anything to do with iOS 8 and how to get it running better. Let's give it a shot. So number one, restart your device. This is something that a lot of people don't think about, but restarting your device, turning it off and on again, the good old favorite, will speed up things generally. So to do that, you just hold down your power button up the top and click slide to power off. That will power off your device. Give it a few seconds and then power it on again. The other way you can do it is by holding the top button and the home button down for about 10 seconds, and that will also give your phone or your iPad a restart. The second thing you can do is to close all apps that are running. So if I open up, let's say I open up settings, I'm going to open up YouTube, I'm going to open up calculator. All right. So you've just seen that I've opened up 3 apps and I've closed them, and most people would think, hey, that's all good, I've closed the apps, not knowing that those apps are still running in the background. If I double tap the home button, so the button down the bottom of your device, you will see apps that are running in the background. So these apps are taking up resources. They are using the RAM. They are using resources on your device, and they are using your battery as well. So we want to close those. Do this as often as you can to keep your phone, your iPad running in the best optimal state. To close them, swipe up on each one. So from the bottom of the app, as you can see on my mouse, bottom up to the top, like so. And that has closed those apps running in the background. The next thing you can do is don't retain all your text messages forever. So by default, your text messages will not get deleted unless you manually delete them. So keeping this in track will ensure that your device runs a little bit quicker. Text messages, iMessages, etc., picture messages, MMS, will take up space on your device. The more space that is taken up, the slower your device will run. So keeping that in track, deleting messages that you don't need, deleting contacts from messages that you don't need will fix that up. The best way that you can do this though is if you go into settings and we go down to messages, down the bottom, you will see message history. It says currently keep messages forever. So change this to either 1 year or 30 days. If I select 1 year, it's going to say delete older messages. So delete anything older than 1 year. And if I say delete, it will do that. Okay, so removing that will ensure that your phone runs a little bit quicker. All right. The next thing you can do is to remove unneeded photos, songs, and videos. So your iPad, your iPhone, you're going to accumulate photos, songs, and videos over time. This is a common thing that's going to happen, but too much of it will block a number of resources from giving its full power to all of your applications. You're going to be taking up space on your phone as well. So if you've got a limited amount of storage, the more photos, the more videos you have, the more space you're going to be taking up. So keeping that in track, removing unwanted photos, removing unwanted songs, removing unwanted videos will ensure that it runs a little bit quicker. The next one is to uninstall non-vital applications. So you'll see that over time, you've probably accumulated a bunch of applications that you don't actually need. What I'd recommend is to remove apps that you don't actually need. The best thing to do is to hold down the app that you no longer need. You're going to get the wiggly cross on the top left of each one of those apps, and you select that cross, and that will remove the applications that you no longer need. All right. So that will fix up that aspect and will free up space on your device. A good little tip is if you go into settings and into general and into usage. Once it loads, we go into manage storage. Now this is telling me I've got 8.8 gigabytes used and I've got 3.9 gigabytes available on my device. It then gives me a breakdown of what applications and what apps and what programs are taking up the most amount of space. So you can just do a scroll down and you'll actually see all the apps that are taking up the most amount of space. So removing some of these apps will open up a bit more storage for other devices, for other applications. All right, the next thing is to clear Safari cookies and data. So as you are going through your device over time, your internet browsing, your Safari browsing, for example, you're going to be collecting your cache. You're going to be collecting saved history, cookies, etc. All of this will remain on your device indefinitely unless you delete it. So removing that, again, will free up more space and let the phone run quicker, the phone or the iPad run quicker. To do this, go back into our settings. We go down to Safari and down to clear history and website data. If I select that, it's going to tell me, do I clear? And then I clear. And that has removed that. The next thing is to disable background app refresh. So what do I mean by this? If we go into settings again, and we go into, where are we? Into general. Into general. Background app refresh. You'll see that I currently have this off. By default, when you have this on, it's going to continue to update information on these applications automatically in the background for you. So when I have, let's say podcasts open, it's automatically going to download. It's automatically going to do all this sort of stuff in the background without me even knowing. The feature sounds great because it does a lot of things without you knowing. So when you open up Facebook, it's got the latest information up there. But by running all the time in the background, it's going to be using up resources. It's going to be using up battery life. It's going to be using up hard drive storage on your device. So turn it off. We'll fix that up as well. All right. The next one is to reduce motion. So let's look at this. So if we go into settings, into general, into accessibility, and then there's an option here called reduce motion. Reduce motion is anything to do with user interfaces. So nice little graphics, little effects, alerts, all this sort of stuff. Makes your experience on your phone or your iPad really, really nice. Also does use up resources, uses up space, uses up battery, etc. Turning that off will speed up your device as well. The next thing is if we go back into general, all right, so from settings into general is to go into the reset option down the very bottom. So if we open that up, it's going to present to us a few options. Reset keyboard dictionary, reset home screen layout, reset location and privacy. We're not going to worry about those here. We're going to look at these top three. Reset all settings. What reset all settings will do, it's going to reset all your settings. It's not going to remove any applications, but it will remove any saved caches on your apps. All right. This is going to drastically reduce the amount of space because it's going to be deleting a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be speeding up your devices as well. All right. Now, I'd only do this if your device is not running very well. You don't necessarily have to do it because you may lose saved information, you may lose passwords, all that sort of thing. But it's a good thing to consider if you're happy to input some information again. Reset network settings will do essentially the same thing, but more for your network settings. So anything to do with internet access, anything to do with accessing your phone coverage, so your 3G, your 4G, whatever it may be, it's going to reset those settings. It will fix up any problems that you have in your network settings as well, but you'll have to re-input some devices, some information about your devices. So if you have to connect to your wireless network again, you'll have to re-input those passwords, etc. again. Last thing that I would do is to completely erase all your content and settings. This is a last resort, I would say. If your device is just running very, very poorly, resetting this will reset your entire phone back to factory default. This will remove all your applications, all your photos, all your music. It will start your phone, your iPad from scratch. Okay, so do this as a last resort, but it will fix a lot of issues. All right. Last thing, number 10. If you've done all of that and you're still finding that your phone is running absolutely terribly slow, you may need to consider getting a new phone, getting a new iPad. What you're going to find is over the years, especially as you're upgrading the software to the latest iOS, in this case this is iOS8, as you're downloading the latest versions of applications, etc., your phone will run slower because the software, the applications will require more space. They're going to require more system resources. So you're eventually going to hit a brick wall where it's just not going to run any quicker, and it's just going to continue to run slower and slower because your phone is so outdated, because your iPad may be so old that it's just time to get a new one. So that's something that you need to consider, possibly selling it and upgrading to the latest device. All right, so that is the top 10 list, my list on what to do to get your devices running a little bit quicker. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.